pencil to help guide. I'm going to use this cutting bit, go within about 1/16, then we'll switch to a sanding disc, and then we'll clean it up by hand. Now we've finished with this cutter. I'm about 1/16 of an inch, or about 1 millimeter. So what I'm going to do now is use this 60 or 80 grit, I forget what's on this, and we're just going to use this bar to knock it back. So you can see I've got very fine line where the frame is, so I have to keep the light on it so I can make sure I don't go beyond that. And the fiberglass is pretty flimsy because you want to keep the weight down. But once the glass goes in and the bottom frame and such, it will be nice and stiff. Okay, so I've got the canopy frame pretty much prepared. I know when it's right because then there's no slop in this section across the combing. The joints are pretty tight. Needs a little bit more sanding just on the bottom here to tuck into this ridge here. But all in all, it's pretty good. This side's exactly the same. It's quite nice. So I just have to again sand this little section here, which is this part. Clean up the flat edge on here. And she should be ready to paint. But before I paint it, I think I'm going to do a rough glass fit and also laser cut the bottom frame out and make sure everything's in place. Otherwise, I'm just going to mess up the paint with my fingers. All right, folks, I'm going to attempt to put this canopy glass in. I'm going to do it a different way. I'm terrible at doing canopy glass. I generally get glue all over the place. So what I'm going to try this time is I'm going to just spot some tiny spots of glue just in these places here. Then I'm going to try and install the glass without screwing it all up and getting it smeared everywhere. And then I'm going to attempt to just CA a couple of places, let that cure off. And then I'm going to see if I can come round and put the shoe glue or the adhesive around the edges and sort of squeeze it under just enough that it doesn't come near the glass. So that's what we're going to try and do. So wish me luck. So I'm just going to put some little baby dabs, not a whole lot. Okay, this is the critical piece. I don't screw it up as I usually do. So I'm going to try and get it in position where I've marked it. Come down without putting too much pressure in. I'm going to get some tape on that side. And well, give it a go. Now, I did make one fatal mistake when I designed this plane, and that was the combing should have been deeper, because I can only get the glass literally 1 millimeter onto this front piece, and any more and it comes off. So let's see if we can press this down. I'll put some magnets on in a minute and sort of try and create a rivet there. Whoops. To come forward just a midges. It's screwed up already. It's a real pain in the ass, to be honest with you. Top here. It's not going to do very good. Let's see if we can get one on the other side to equalize it. Okay, I think I'm better off just putting a weight on. I think we'll use magnets just to spread it out here. Oh, it's the damn vise. It's the metal in the vise underneath, which is holding the mold in place, is interfering with my magnets. So that's not good. Put a weight on there and hope for the best. So I'm absolutely terrible at this. I can design and build pretty much any plane, but I can't do the simplest of jobs. So that's there. I'm going to get some more magnets and I'll come around and CA the edges and see what I can do. Alright, so now I'm just trying to go around putting just the tiniest of CA in to try and flatten the glass in there. I checked to see if this kicker reacts with the glass, and it seems to be okay, so I guess it's just a matter of being patient. Well, I think I've already cocked it up. What I should have done is set this, push this forward, and then started from the bottom up instead of across. So it's put some stress on the canopy, so I don't know if this is going to work or not. Anyhow, we'll try and get some of this stuff on and see what the hell happens. I would like to have this be well sealed so that the wind can't get underneath the canopy and tear it off. So I think masking across and painting it on the surface is probably the way to go. Well, don't make it too big. I think that's what we're gonna do. And it won't look anywhere near as bad as it does right now. That's what happens when you're designing planes. You can't always think of everything up front. It's like a damn chess game. You gotta think 20 moves ahead and hope for the best. And basically see what happens. Alright, I guess all I can do is let that cure. I'm not going to do the front one for a minute. Gotta come up with a better plan. Well, I got this one in the front windshield. Doesn't look too bad. A little bit of a pen marking on there, which I can just get off with a bit of rubbing alcohol. But it came out okay. It's not perfect. What the hell? I'm sick of this damn thing. So, but I think it looks okay. Okay, folks. So I've got the glass in. A few little spots on it. I'm pretty much useless at that stuff. But anyhow, I've laser cut the bottom of the canopy frame, which will go here. And I've put a couple of holes in there. This has these little slots, and then there's some little pins CA'd in there. And they just simply go into these like that. Canopy is obviously glued to that, so when you put in the canopy in, you could just go like that. Self-aligns on the combing here. Magnet at the back, and all should be good. So what I need to do first is I need to primer this in grey so that it looks, you know, military on the inside. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, folks. We've got this primed. It's all in the grey stuff. So it's going to slot in like this. Now we have to attach this canopy to this frame. And we'll figure out how we're going to do it. So first of all, I'm just going to put a little bit of Vaseline around this section here so that if any glue drips down, it's not going to stick. So I'm just going to use a tiny little bit, not a lot. I've marked the end of the frame, the inside frame. I'm just going to put a little bit in. We're going to have to get this off, obviously, when we paint, but that's okay. The last thing I want is the shoe goo, or my goop, sticking to this canopy. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to take a syringe, hope you can see it. I'm going to put a bit in there, not a whole hell of a lot, because I'm not going to need too much. And then we're going to try and syringe it in. Now, thankfully, this canopy is quite large and I have full access from the front. So, here goes. Wish me luck. So I'm just going to try and run a bead down here, like this. Can't really see where it's coming out, but we'll check it visually in a minute. Yeah, did okay. So now I'm going to take a popsicle stick, as they call it here, or a lolly stick, as we call it back in England. I'm going to just run so I get a bead. I'm not going to come all the way to the front there because I know it's going to get caught. And that looks okay. So we'll come around and do the other side. Right guys, now it's time to figure out how we're going to put the mounting magnets in here. So what I've done is I've gone around the perimeter with the pencil, and I've got about, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch, maybe just a bit less, between this lip here and the outside perimeter. Let me just get my pins in. And I've drawn a center line with the center of this fuselage here. Don't know which one's more center. So I think we'll put it on yeah, where it is now. So that's probably about halfway between there and there. So what I'm going to do is drill a hole right down through both of them. And that should give us a position where we can make up a magnet stand or a bracket, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just going to, let's see, that's on an angle. So we'll just drill slightly on an angle to match the fuselage. And go for it. Not bad. Let's just make sure we're still on. Uh-oh, what did I do? Okay. So that gives us our alignment marks, which I guess is this one. We'll draw a circle around that. It's going to be big anyhow, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so I've shaped a little rough piece of plywood. That's going to go under there. It's got a hole in it for the 10mm magnet. I'm going to have the magnet slightly raised up, and then we'll glue that in and go from there. All right, so now I've got the bottom mount glued in. I've used the Shugu, my favorite, for gluing uncommon materials to fiberglass. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try and find the positioning of the magnet angle to the canopy, and then I'll be able to secure all those guys. All right. So all I'm going to do now is push gently on. Now that we've got the front aligned, we're going to just push gently on here and get it all flush and in position, and then we'll lift up, and that's our angle for the magnets on top. So what I'm going to do is just put a dab of Shugu on the top one. I'm going to reinstall the canopy and then let it cure for a couple of hours, and then I should be able to just pull it up, pull it out, and then tack the bottom one in, then glue it from underneath heavily, and then on this side of the canopy I will then just add a little reinforcement around the magnet, and then we should be done. So I'll go ahead and glue this in now. Okay, now there's a dab of Shugu on top of the magnet. Not a whole hell of a lot. I've scratched the underneath of the canopy, cleaned it off. So now we're going to attempt to get this back in. I'm going to get one shot at this, so I've got to make sure everything's lined up nicely. And down she goes. Get down as nice and tight as we can. Now I'm going to put a little bit of CA just into the top there. And we should be good. I know some of you are thinking, why the hell did he drill a hole in this thing? Well, it's because I'm not painted it yet, and I got a bunch of paint and fixing to do. So it really doesn't matter. I can fill that in 2 seconds, clean it all up, and all will be good with the world. So what I'm trying to do right now is I want to get some CA down that center hole of the magnet. All right, it's good enough. A little bit of kicker, just for shits and grins. And I'll leave that for a couple of hours, and if all has been done correctly, that should be ready for fix it now. Can I get inside here? Just push the magnets up. It's all hardened now. Everything's good. Now, one thing I want to sort of point out here is the way I like to do my stuff is that these magnets, the magnet on top goes into a shallow recess here for the magnet on the bottom. So that stops the canopy from being able to wobble. Also helps it when you're in the airstream, so it can't just, wiggle out. So everything looks good here. However, this side has a little bit of a roll in the fiberglass here, which is causing me a problem trying to get the canopy to lock into the hold down points easy. So what I'm going to do is just get a heat gun, heat this epoxy up, press it down, let it cool down, and that should keep it in place. So, all right, so I've got my heat gun, and I'm going to just show you how to move epoxy around. So I'm using a glove because it's going to be bloody hot. So here we go. I don't want to get too close because this gun is really hot. There we go. That's about all we need. So I'm just going to hold it down, give it a bash of Windex to help cool it down a bit quicker, and hopefully we've got it just nailed right. So let's see if it's a little easier to get in now. Oh, there we go. That does it. Beautiful. So I'll leave that on for a couple of minutes, just in case the epoxy wants to come back, because it does have memory, and then we'll finish gluing all this guys up. Okay, it looks like that appears to have worked. It's much easier to get the canopy on now. It was a 30-second fix. This is laying flat. So what I need to do now is just get some glue around this area here to make sure this is locked in. And a little bit on the back side of here, again, just for securing it. So yeah, the canopy goes in nice now. So I'll get that done, and then we'll figure out what we do next on this plane. All right, so I've now got all these reinforced. The glue's still drying, the nose is on. It needs all the canopy needs cleaning up, all the glass, get some wax on there to polish it up. And that is the end of the canopy for now. We will be installing a cockpit if the thing flies okay and all that good stuff. And I got a really super detailed 3D model of that, which I did years ago, and just has to be resin printed. So next is we're gonna just make the molds for the intake nacelles, and that's in the coming video. That's where we're going to be putting them, is on here and here. Then we'll have these diverters put on as well, and then things should be looking good. Here's a tip for you. Sometimes I forget to do something, then I remember it, as you're lying there trying to go to sleep or whatever. And what I do is I make little notes on masking tape and put them on the fuselage. And in this case, you can see a flap servo. It's because I just saw some screws on my bench, which actually hold the flap servo and cover in place on the wing. So I need to get those in. And then I also forgot to figure out how I'm going to do the wing mounting bolts once the wings go in. Because this one's set up differently. I've got the tube going all the way across instead of the stub tubes because I want a bit more strength. So we have to figure that out. So anyhow, the next video we'll be doing the intake nacelles and installing those. So that's a layup from start to finish, including priming the mold, etc., etc. And then it's on to the tail. So we'll assemble the tail, And then this plane theoretically should be ready to go. What we'll need to do is, what will we need to do? We'll need to do a CG and balance, laterally balance it, CG it, and then program the radio up and refine all the programming features. So probably another 3 videos to go, and then the fourth one should be the test flight.